Mic check 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Sorry, folks. Let me get set up here. Yeah. Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are back after what is it, like a month and some change, and yeah, a lot's been going on. There's been a slight little conflict. Um, Anyway, today we're going to talk about whether or not Bibi Netanyahu is clapped. My Kalshi picks, because I do have some Kalshi stuff that is popping off a little bit, because I said a while back, oof, I said a while back, listen, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, right? And Nick Fuentes, he said something about, I'll see you at Ohio, or I'll see you in the midterms, to Vivek Ramaswamy. And I decided to buy some Ohio governor winner being the Democratic Party, and that was at 46% chance. Now that bad boy is at a 62% chance. So don't say thank me later. Thank me later. You can still get it at a 62% chance. It's still good. It's still good money. But I bought $50 worth. And then also, which party will win the U.S. Senate? I bought $25 at 33%. Now, if that ain't a good deal, I don't know what is. So, fuck with your boy. Anyway, today we are doing some conspiracy stuff. I'm just off that Burger King diet, bro. I've been eating like a chud. I have been, I need to lock the fuck in. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to lock in. We're going to make sure everything is set straightforward. Fucking sweet potatoes and ground beef. No pastas, no Burger Kings, no fast food, not even no Dave's Hot Chicken. Even if it fits the macros, who cares? If it has seasoning on it, we are not eating it. And if it is within outside of that 2-hour, 3-hour window of that fasting period where I fast for like 20 hours and then fucking eat for 2 hours or whatever, yeah. Gotta lock in, man. Anyway, that's like the whole crux of that's like American politics right now. Like everybody's like, "Oh my god, Iran war. But then they're like, eh, but that new episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, though. I mean, that should be fire, bro. Like, all these episodes of, anime, and like, listen, our chud lives are too good to stop living. I get it. I get it. We want to do something with our lives. We want to feel like the main character. We want to do something. But let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's like, you know how many stories I hear of fighters that will just like have all this brain damage, can't even put together sentences clearly, and like have trouble talking, and then at the end of the day, nobody even knows who they are. It's like, it's insane. And they spend their whole lives doing all of this stuff, all of this work, all of this training, just to be not nobody, but in a sense, most people want to be remembered for something. So it does pain people. It does pain you to know that it's a possibility. It's a possibility that you could end up as a nobody. And that's why you should do it for something greater. That's why it shouldn't be about the hoes. It shouldn't be about all of these, materialistic things. It should be about greater stability. It should be about wanting something to bring to your future family. Morals. Something that lasts for a lifetime. And not just a lifetime, for an eternity. I'm talking, centuries, man. I'm talking generations. All right? Teachings. You think the Rothschilds, you think Epstein, you think those people just grew up out of nothing? No, these are tactics that these, all right. We're 7 minutes and a half. All right, we're 7.5 minutes into this stream. Listen, all right. So I don't want to get too sidetracked. I was going to start talking about some, not conspiracy theories. Obviously, people know already. People know now. People are red pilled. People understand. People have seen what it is like out there in the Middle East. What's going on? So anyway, now, is Bibi clapped? Honestly, I can't tell you, and people are calling for a press conference or something, just something. Hold a briefing or something. You look on his Twitter, and I'm gonna go on his Telegram too. Let's open his Telegram. Let's see. Let's open the Telegram and let's see. Is Bibi alive? I mean, literally just recently he posted, not too long ago. Yeah. I mean, it looks like he's posting. And this morning they eliminated Ali Larijani, is the boss of the Revolutionary Guards, which is a gang of gangsters that actually runs Iran. Alongside him, we also eliminated the commander of the Basij, a henchman of the gangsters who spread terror in the streets of Tehran and other Iranian cities against the population. We're operating there too, operating from the air with Air Force planes with drones who are undermining this regime in the hope of giving the Iranian people a chance to oust it. It won't happen all at once. Man. Okay, so breaking news. He just posted 6 minutes ago. I'm going to switch over to this cam right here. Let's see. I'm here with Israel's defense minister. All right, this is what Bibi says. I'm here with Israel's defense minister, our chief of staff, the head of the Mossad, the chief of Air Force, our senior commanders. In the past 24 hours, we knocked out 2 of the terrorist chieftains, the top terrorist chieftains of this tyranny. Our aircraft are hitting the terror operatives on the grounds, in the crossroads, in the city squares. This is meant to enable the brave people of Iran to celebrate the festival of fire. So celebrate and happy Nowruz. We're watching from above. Now everybody was saying Bibi Netanyahu's clapped. Also, more breaking news. I wanted to talk about Joe Kent, because Joe Kent, if you don't know, he's a combat veteran. He has ties to Nick Fuentes. He used to associate with Fuentes, or be an associate of Nick Fuentes, and then later departed from his not his influence, but just split ways with him in a bad way, which Nick Fuentes also, like, he quote tweeted it and said, well, and I'll show you the tweets right here. And if you don't know, Joe Kent, basically the story goes something like this. He wanted to run for office, and his political opponents were trying to frame him as a bad person because he associates with Nick Fuentes. And, well, so in retaliation, he basically went on Twitter and decided to tweet, "Oh, my opponents are again spreading lies about me. I strongly condemn Nick Fuentes' politics, especially in regards to our ally Israel. I ignored his invitation to speak at his recent conference in Orlando, and I am not aware of nor do I accept any endorsement from him." Now, boy, try not to laugh challenge. All right. Obviously, Nick decided to say, well. And basically, what happened here is Joe Kent, he's not very fond of the Iran war. And honestly, we're going to get to that. Donald Trump, the Iran war. I know I titled this video, basically, should you regret a vote for Big T? And we'll get to that. But Joe Kent just posted, and this is going crazy on Twitter. After much reflection, and after much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center, effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. It has been an honor serving under President of the United States. It has been an honor serving under President Trump and Tulsi Gabbard, and leading the professionals at NCTC. May God bless America. And in his letter, he says, after much reflection, I have decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism, effective today, yada, yada, yada. In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into never-ending wars. You demonstrated this by killing Qasem Soleimani and by defeating ISIS. Early in this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed A misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform and sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. This echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States and that you should strike now. There was a clear path to a swift victory. This was a lie and is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw us into the disastrous Iraq War that cost our nation the lives of thousands of our best men and women. We cannot make this mistake again. As a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times, and as a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. So this guy's wife died for Israel. And now, obviously, not great. Not good. We can agree to that. And he has been a Trump diehard. So much so that even after Nick stopped endorsing Trump, Nick stopped endorsing Trump. Nick stopped endorsing Israel. Stop being an Israel shill. Sorry, I have to burp. Channeling my inner Nick right now. Having to burp all the time. Anyway, stop being a shill for Israel. He stopped doing all that stuff and parted ways from Nick. Or at least Nick he wasn't being a shill for Israel. And then Joe Kent was like, shit, Israel's our greatest ally, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. And they hold a lot of ill will. So that's something that's been going. It's been making the rounds lately. And is Israel our greatest ally? Obviously not. Have they been our ally? Yes. Have they done things for us? Yes. So, to sit here and say Israel isn't our ally is a lie. Say that 3 times over. To say Israel isn't our ally is a lie. Anyway, Nick has said this once before. Right? The Israel war would have happened regardless in a democratic presidential, or the Israel war would have happened in a democratic office, in a democratic administration. Kamala would have still had an Israeli war or a war in Gaza, right? And as a matter of fact, around 40,000 Palestinians died under Biden's term, right? So we want to, undermine that argument of, it would have been better, it would have been worse under a Democratic administration. It's like, we can't skirt past that. We can't just look the other way. Is that your only argument? Yes, that's my only argument. Actually, that's the only argument you need. It would have been way worse. In the long term, you can't... Yes, sure, we can argue people would have been more radicalized. But let's say this. Democrat gets into office, and we have all of these people pouring in the border. On top of that, because what happened with Biden and the pagers in Lebanon? Are we just like, he talks about that all the time, but we're forgetting that was in Biden's term. We were blind. We were a sleepwalking administration. It wasn't anything that was professional. It wasn't anything that was actively negotiating or at least trying to do something. I think with this term, Trump is trying to find a victory for all sides, and that's going to take some people dying. I'm sorry, it's not cute, it's not pretty, it sucks, I get it. Especially if you're a troop, especially if you're somebody who is against Israel, especially if you're somebody who is against everything going on in the Middle East. It is hard to understand the threats that the Middle East poses, and not just the Middle East, but the entire geopolitical sphere. Think about China. Think about the BRICS countries. Think about all of these countries that are conspiring to undermine the power of the United States, right? It is without a doubt that all of these countries want to do something in order to undermine the US dollar, in order to undermine the power that we have as a country. They are doing their best to send in people who don't provide anything to the country, who don't provide value, who don't build. And with that comes consequences. With that comes a weakened country. Now, we can blame all of it on Israel, but is that really smart? Are we really going to sit here and pretend like Iran doesn't have any sort of, cooperation with trying to undermine the United States, trying to cooperate with the BRICS countries and find different currencies and do all these different things, all these little slight tactics. Let's say there's a rat, right? Let's say there's a rat and it keeps eating your food, right? Hypothetically. We sell glue traps for rats, and when the rats fall into the glue trap, we throw out the rat into the trash. Like, I don't know, this is just like a normal thing for me personally. Like, we throw the rat into the trash and throw it like out into the trash, like outside, so it's not near the house. Obviously, we're not just gonna let the rat sit in the trash, but we throw it out in the trash and we let it sit there to die, right? And basically what I'm saying is, this rat was stealing food. Let's say all of your food goes bad. And let's say you have to make another $150 grocery run. That $150, it stumps you. It leaves you broke because you have to pay debt on literally almost everything. You have to pay college debt. You have to pay, hospital debt. You have to pay car debt, car loans, whatever, insurance. Bad things could have happened. Maybe, you need an Uber. Who knows? Maybe you needed that $150 and now you need to go to the grocery store because some mouse was biting your shit and infecting your shit. Do you give that mouse a home? Do you start feeding it? No. You kill that fucker. Right? So we have countries, BRICS countries, that are refusing to use the US dollar, refusing to trade with the world reserve currency. That means they're trying to undermine all of the power that we have built up in the last couple decades. And that's not just something we as Americans need to take lightly. We need to understand that whoever and whenever there is another country out there that is not even posing just an imminent threat. You don't have to pose an imminent threat, have missiles, have nuclear capability. And this is what I disagree with Fuentes on. You should not just act on a country if you have nuclear, if that country has nuclear capability and they are posing a threat with it. Don't act on the country then. Act on the country when it doesn't have the nuclear capability. Act on the country when it's posing that threat and clearly taking the time to undermine your country and even doing it in the slyest of ways. Because if you let that mouse keep on eating your food, it's going to bring its family. It's going to start making babies. It's going to start living in your house. It's going to start acting pretty Jewish. It's going to start living in your territory. And I'm going to tell you right now, what Donald Trump is trying to do, how many people, listen, Charlie Kirk died after mentioning Iran. And Nick did not read a single excerpt, not even one sentence about Charlie Kirk's disdain for Iran. Charlie Kirk's disdain for this Iran war, right? Charlie Kirk had a lot of disdain for this Iran war. He said it in the letter that he sent to Bibi Netanyahu. And now, obviously, dude is fucking dead. Bibi probably saw that letter and he said, you know what? Radicalize some liberal. Get him killed. Get him killed. Oh, this liberal's dad bought a gun. Radicalize this liberal. They probably, you know, they go shooting all the time. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Change up his algorithm. Make sure, you know. You think they don't have that capability? I'm being so serious. Do you think they don't have that capability? No. Charlie Kirk sent that letter to Bibi Netanyahu. You think Bibi Netanyahu didn't think like, oh yeah, okay, look, get him clapped. Just clap him. No, I don't want to hear it. I am quite sure Bibi's that type of guy. Is Bibi dead? I don't know. Maybe. And we can look at prediction markets. We can look at Bibi Netanyahu. Hold up. There is nothing about Bibi Netanyahu right now on the prediction markets. But anyway, so this is what I disagree with, right? And why I brought up Charlie Kirk anyway. So Charlie Kirk sends this letter to Bibi, says, listen, explain this Iran war a little bit better for the people, just a little bit better for the people, please. Please. Clapped. Headshot. Dead. All right. Well, not headshot dead, but next shot dead. All right. Clapped. Mentions Iran, clapped. Sends a letter to Bibi, mentions Iran, says, hey, explain Iran a little bit better, and can you use Jewish people to explain Iran? Clap him, just done. All right. Now, Trump. Meow. Pew. Near clapped. Near death. 1 millimeter, 1 inch, 1 centimeter. Almost clapped. They gave him a golden pager. They're basically saying, hey, this is our prime bitch right here. This is our prime, you know, if he does anything, this shit will explode a little bit extra harder. This pager right here will explode a little bit harder. Just so the death's quicker, right? And we're sparing him a little bit better. We're sparing him a little bit more, right? No. It's almost as if that's the case. And what Trump is trying to do, he's not trying to go out all out in this Iran war. He's trying to get his feet wet. Sure, Americans will die, but rather it be Trump controlling, mitigating the death count and using up our resources and using up the resources that we can use, the slight resources that we can show in order to at least make it seem as if we're trying our best. Give Israel an impression like, hey, look, we're trying, but we're barely getting anywhere. And then what are we doing? We're demoralizing Israel. If Israel gets hit back, if Israel gets weakened, then what can Trump do? It gives Trump a little bit more leverage. It gives Trump more power over Israel. Israel had their roots deep in Congress, deep in everything, even without a Republican administration. They could have still done all of that with a Democratic administration. That's why they said we're going to strike anyway. Trump, it doesn't matter. We're going to strike anyway. That's why Bibi said it does not matter. We're going to strike anyway, because they wanted to show we can start this war at any single point in time and you can't do anything about it. So it's not, and I don't want to, and like, I understand, Goyim United, I understand, listen, this is not to bash Nick Fuentes or anything like that. I just want to say it is okay if you don't want to regret your vote. You don't need to regret your vote. Yes, I get it. Fell for it again award. Everybody wants to say that. Whatever. But you don't have to regret your vote. And I'll tell you why. Why? Because Epstein files this, Epstein files that. Listen, the Epstein case finished in like 2023. We could have had the Epstein files back in 2023, 2024. Guess what? We didn't. It took wait. It took two what? Republicans to get it released. Why didn't Trump veto it? Wait, why didn't Trump veto? Oh, wait, yeah, that's right. He didn't have to. The Epstein files basically almost exonerated him. Anybody that actually went through the files just realized it was just like Epstein's like personal like prawn folder. That's literally all it was. And also, like, yeah, sure, like some instances of him blackmailing and whatnot, but it's very nuanced. Anybody who wants to go through the files, they can. And for the most part, from what I can tell, a Democratic administration would not have done shit. Next point, Iran. If we're talking about a Democratic administration, I literally just said, so a Democratic administration versus a Republican administration when it comes to Iran. We had the pager attack happen under Biden. We had this is a scoop from Axios. This is from Barack Ravid back in 2023. 2023. This is a little bit after the attack on October 7th. The Biden administration has in recent weeks grown increasingly distrustful of what the Israeli government says about its military and diplomatic plans in the multi-front war it is fighting. 4 U.S. officials told Axios. The Biden administration isn't opposed to Israel responding to the Iranian attack last week, but wants it to be measured, U.S. officials said. Our trust of the Israelis is very low right now, and for a good reason, one U.S. official said. Two U.S. officials told Axios that during a call on Friday, White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told Israel's Minister for Strategic Affairs Ron Dermer that the U.S. expects clarity and transparency from Israel about its plans to retaliate against Iran because it will have implications for U.S. forces and interests in the region. The U.S. officials admit that the U.S. would very likely help Israel defend itself regardless. Sullivan was signaling that if the U.S. doesn't know what the Israelis are planning to do, it wouldn't automatically be on board to help defeat another Iranian missile attack against Israel, one official said. And right after that, it says the U.S. officials admit that the U.S. would very likely help Israel defend itself regardless. Very likely help Israel defend itself regardless. Do I need to say it twice? So in this Biden regime that we can go through another Biden regime. We can go through another 30, 40,000 Palestinian children just dead, blown to bits, torn to bits. We can go through another 30,000, 40,000 of them. But we need to radicalize all these Americans. We need to do all this bullshit so we can radicalize Americans. Don't vote Democrat because we need to radicalize all these Americans. We need to stop this Iran war, this forever war. Listen, the Israelis, they're not going to let up. And if they're not going to let up, and if they're just going to threaten American people with death, like they did with Charlie Kirk, like they're doing with Trump when they tried to shoot him down in Butler, Pennsylvania, and also shoot him down in Mar-a-Lago. It's like they tried to do it twice. And then guess what? He's still alive. So now what? And it's not like, and if you want to say it was planned, I'll agree with you. I'll even agree with you. I'll say it was planned. It was planned to intimidate him. So, with that intimidation tactic in place, Trump, what is he going to do? Is he just going to, publicly oppose Israel and back down and turn the tables on them and, rug pull them? No, I don't think he's going to do that, but he's going to play the slow game. And it's okay to play the slow game. But we, as the American people, it's okay if we want to back Trump still. It's okay if we want to still be allied with Trump. It's okay if you still want to rep MAGA. Because the point still stands. Make America great again. And to do that, we need to understand that it is important to stand behind our president. And if we stand behind our president through thick and thin, even when his decisions, look, if somebody like Nick Fuentes wants you to do this, why can't we do that for our president? Why can't we blindly follow our president, the one who is meant to lead America? If he leads us to an Iranian war, listen, I get it. I'm not going to go sign up and enlist right now, but, and I don't recommend you to. I'm telling you right now, don't die for Israel. But at the same time, it is not, those are our soldiers, and that is our president. I trust my president. I trust my president to deliver us to freedom. And that might not look pretty. That might look like submitting to Israel for a little bit. Just a little bit. Is that okay? Just a little bit? Because we need to show Israel, listen, we're doing our best. We're trying with all our might. Shoot a couple bombs, a little Tomahawk missile here and there. And then guess what? And then Israel will be like, man, maybe Bibi Netanyahu gets clapped on accident. Oops. That was Iran. That was an Iranian missile, guys. Oops. Anyway. Um, the light's hitting my thing all weird. Yeah, it's hitting my. Anyway, I was cooking right there. But listen, all of this to say, we need to stand behind our president. Why? Because we might not agree 1,000%, but our president's a goy too. That's our president. That's our goy. That's the goy that we chose. We are only 1 year into the presidency. We need to show Israel, listen, throw a couple Tomahawk missiles here and there. Oh, listen, oops. Maybe Bibi gets clapped. Oops. And then, whoever becomes leader after that. Listen, this is a forever war. This is a war that has been going on for many, many presidencies. We have done so many different things. You know how many people have died over this? So when Trump, gets us into an Iran war with only like a couple casualties, listen, don't go marching all over Twitter and TikTok being all up in arms and, being so upset because your gas price went up by like 40 cents. It's whatever, man. I get it. We need to show Israel, okay, we did everything we could. Listen, Iran's still holding up. Iran's still doing everything they can. We can't do anything. Capiche? And then Bibi, with all the respect he has, hopefully he backs down and says, you're right, President Trump. We can't do anything. Stop giving me all those Tomahawk missiles. Stop doing all this stuff. Let's just back down. Let's just, and it might sound, it sounds far-fetched. I get it. But at the same time, what exactly else were we going to get into? What exactly else? Were we just going to be blindfolded? We can bomb strategic targets. We can, take out leaders. We can, the leader's son might be super mad. I get it. Upset, even. But these are countries that are undermining U.S. power in a very strategic way, like a mouse. And we need to do something about it. A little bit. Just a little bit. And also, we need to have another player, which is Israel, be satisfied as well, in some sort of way. But not wholly. Because if they do get entirely satisfied, then that's bad for us. But if we do satisfy them a little bit, then maybe we get a little bit of leeway and get a little bit of more good grace in their eyes. So they drop their guard and we can undermine their power in some sort of sly or strategic way. Hopefully. But we're only 1 year into the presidency. So who knows? That could happen. So that is it for today's show. I appreciate it. I think we don't need to regret our votes. I think, Nick, he wants to get into the politics. He wants to be the contrarian, or maybe they're paying him off too. Who knows? Whatever. I appreciate you for watching. If you watched up to this point, listen. You don't need to regret your vote. There are so many different reasons why Trump is a good guy. He's a good guy. He's just misunderstood. He's a little teensy bit misunderstood. I'm a little misunderstood, people. I'm a little misunderstood. I beat my wiener to my daughter. It's okay, though. It's okay. Alrighty. Have a good one, fellas. Enjoy the rest.